Ikan, where are you staying?
Or C4.
Oh, nice.
We're live already, guys, by the
Oh,
way.
shit. Oh, oops.
Okay. Okay, we'll just wait till 8 before we begin.
Should we leave the share screen, like leave it on or what?
Okay, I'll leave it on. Wait,
So people joining, they can just see something. Oh yeah, make sure you leave like a separate screen for yourself as well.
Yeah, I'm on my phone.
Nice, nice.
It shows right nicely.
Yep, very nice.
Okay, Brian, y'all help me admit people if they come in.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, then I'll just begin. Okay, so hello everyone. Welcome to NUS Piano Ensemble's live Zoom chat session. I'm Hui Xian, President of NUS Piano Ensemble, and I'll be giving you guys some introduction to NUS Piano Ensemble, also known as NUSPE. So thereafter, Yanjin, our student music director, and Brian, our vice president, will talk about our performances and CCA sessions. And Jonathan and Tae Kyung will then take some time to share with you guys their experiences and their thoughts of the CCA. So before I begin, if you have any questions, if you drop by later, you can drop them in the chat box or click the raise hand button if you want to verbalize your questions. We will address questions between each speaker and allow more time for Q&A at the end of the session, so do drop by our Zoom session. So if you're interested to join us or you want to know more specific details about CCA, then please do scan the QR code here to sign up for our welcome session. Okay, so firstly, what is NUSPE and what do we do? So in essence, NUS Piano Ensemble focuses on piano ensemble works across the various stylistic periods of classical music. And this means that we do duets and duos, meaning 4 hands and 2 pianos that you see on the left and right respectively. So occasionally we also do other combinations as well, like works for 6 hands or 8 hands, 2 pianos. But of course, we don't jump in straight to 2 pianos. It's a progressive journey here at NUSPE. So for concerts, we will get our members started on duet pieces first and move on to do duo works in Sem 2. And along the way, we have our artistic director, Mr. Timothy Koo, who plays a very crucial role in our CCA by providing coachings or for concert preparations and directing our CCA sessions by sharing his music theory knowledge, contextual knowledge and stuff. And it helps us all to have better understanding of music making. So as we mentioned previously, we focus on works across the various stylistic periods of classical piano music. So sometimes we see popular works like Holst's Planet Suite, Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker Suite, or like the Stravinsky's Rite of Spring. But more importantly here, we also explore so-called less-known composers like Sanson and even like Spanish composers like Guastavino. So if you join us, you will really be exposed to many more composers and their works. So for this academic year, we want to continue to maintain music making opportunities all year round. So upon passing auditions and becoming our member, everyone will be given an opportunity to play and we will have different opportunities for our members to perform at. So how it works is that we will have duet works all year round and work towards duo works in Sem 2 as I mentioned previously, and concerts will be used as checkpoints for your progress with us. So we also aim to have more involvement for our members, and so our sessions also includes hands-on participation. Coaching will also be made available to members for concert preparations, even though the concert may be internal. So how NUSPE works is that we have our CCA sessions every Friday, 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. And this is where Mr. Koo will give insight to various topics of music making, be it on composers, periods, or specific works. And along the way, you'll engage in self-practice and rehearsals with your partner at your own time at our piano studios. And then we will have individual coaching for new members and pair coachings as we approach concert seasons. So in essence, our CCA is really for people interested in venturing into classical piano ensemble music. And this is a place where you can be exposed to piano ensemble playing, which not many of us had the opportunity to, since most of us learned the piano through solo works. And if you want to get into ensemble playing or hone your ensemble skills and learn more of a range of solo and piano ensemble repertoire, then this could be the place for you. So before I hand over to Yanjin, are there any quick questions? Okay, then Yanjin, please.
Okay, thank you. So, hi everyone. My name is Yanjin, and I'm the student music director of NUS Piano Ensemble. So I'll be sharing with you more about our concerts planned out for the next academic year. So we are planning to have 4 key concerts. So in November, we'll have Concertino, which is our internal concert held at the Rami Shaw CFA studios. And in December, we'll have Melodious, which is our annual outreach concert at the Esplanade Library. Around February, we are planning to have another outreach concert at NUH. And towards the end of the academic year, we will be holding our flagship concert, Touch, in April. So all these are subject to changes depending on the COVID situation, but this is what we have so far. So now I'll go into detail on each of the concerts. So Concertino is the name of our internal performance. So typically we'll have one at the end of every semester. There are no restrictions on the repertoire for this concert, which means that you can choose to play solo, duet, or even chamber works with other instruments. So this encourages our members to perform any work of their choice that they have been preparing, and many of our members actually form their own pairs and present ensemble works, such as for 2 pianos. And for the incoming freshmen, this will be the first performance platform for this academic year, so we will be advising you on the pairings and pieces. So for Melodious is another performance avenue at the Esplanade Library that we open to all our members. So the repertoire is usually not challenging, and the concert usually has a more light-hearted theme like Christmas. So Touch, which will be held in semester 2 in April, is our annual flagship concert held at the Esplanade Recital Studio. So the repertoire for Touch tend to be 2 piano works, and we tend to venture into more lesser-known composers or more challenging works for 2 pianos, but don't worry because all the performance opportunities that lead up to Touch will prepare you for it. Yeah. So how is the concert preparation like? So for most concerts, with the exception of Concertino, we will be assigning partners and pieces. So after which you will be practicing individually and meeting up with your own partner on your own time to rehearse. So we'll also have coaching with our artistic director, Mr. Koo, as well as our CCA sessions concurrently. So before the actual concert itself, we will usually have a run through where we listen to each other's playing and give each other feedback. So I think that's all from me regarding concerts. So before I hand on my time to Brian, our Vice President, who will talk about our CCA sessions, are there any questions so far? Okay, if there are no questions, then let me hand on my time to Brian to talk about our sessions.
All right, thank you very much, Yanjin. So I am Brian, the Vice President of NUS Piano Ensemble. So what I'll be covering today is on the sessions that Piano Ensemble has. As covered by Yanjin previously, we are very focused on, we're driven towards performances and concerts. But on top of that, we also have additional resources beyond coaching and rehearsals to value add to your time with us. So we have what we call sessions, but we also call them workshops. And there is lectures on music theory. Sorry, can we go back to the previous slide? Yeah, so we have lectures on music theory. We also have lectures on, we have lectures on music history. We have lectures on music theory and practical skills. This comes in the form of live demonstration, workshops. We also have masterclasses if the resources are available. And as what Engineer has mentioned previously, our concertino is, because it's an internal concert, it's actually also considered it's actually considered a session. So when I like to talk about the workshops, so we begin with lectures on music history. So our music director, Mr. Koo, would give us lectures, and he will talk about basically music history. So there is two significant facets of this. Firstly, he will cover lesser known composers such as Medtner, and for more popular composers, like for example such as Prokofiev, he will cover more obscure pieces. And he was able to draw the link between Prokofiev's symphonies as well as the similarities it holds to modern movie soundtracks. So I'd like to move on to our master classes. So we have can we have the next slide? Sorry. Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, next slide. Yeah. So we have our master classes. We like to give. Oh, I beg your pardon. Yeah, can you go back to live demonstrations? Yeah, I missed a slide. So in live demonstrations, it's actually a new thing that happened during the social distancing. So what we're trying to incorporate this into our sessions is that there is an increase in interaction between between Mr. Koo and our members. So what this involves is that Mr. Koo would give us quite a simple piece to learn beforehand, a classical piece to learn beforehand, and he will get us on the session itself to play a particular section. So from there on, he will give us music critique, in terms of how you interpret the phrases, how you play the rhythm, how you do the dynamics. Overall, it's to evaluate on your musical interpretation, and it's also a great opportunity to learn from each other. Yeah, so I'd like to move on to master classes. Yep. And so master classes is something that it might be difficult to happen to occur right now because of social distancing measures, but typically we would normally invite pianists to give us master classes to prepare for upcoming concerts. So on the picture on the left, we actually had Abigail Sin from Yosuto actually giving a coaching to one of the pairs that was performing for Touch 2019. And the photo on the right is more of a solo masterclass given by Azariah Tan, who, if I'm not wrong, was from Yosuto as well. So yeah, we hope to be able to have more opportunities with this esteemed established pianists. So in addition to masterclasses, we also have guest speakers to actually give us something a little bit more different compared to like the music history, etc. So we were able to get Dr. Frank Demelio, who is a lecturer at Yongsuto, to actually give us a talk about on the harpsichord. So yeah, it's quite exciting to have guest speakers on NUSPE as well. Yeah, and finally, I'd like to talk about the concertinos. This is where we internally showcase the performance of any member who wishes to perform. As mentioned by Yanjin before, there is really no restriction to the performance type, and it's really interesting when you see, your fellow members come up with their own flair, their own way of playing things. And it's also like it's a great opportunity to see what what your fellow members can do. And yeah, finally, I'd like to cover the rationale and the goals to be achieved from these workshops. So to conclude, it's to provide resources beyond your practice sessions. It is also to increase your exposure to music and ensemble works through the concertinos, through the lectures, etc. And overall, we hope that this would foster better musicians and pianists. So yeah, before I hand over my time to share the sharing session to Jonathan and Tae Kyung, we are happy to take any questions. All right, I guess I can hand over to Jonathan and Tae Kyung.
Okay, I'm Tae Kyung, and I will cover mainly 2 points, which is why I decided to join NUS Piano Ensemble, as well as my experiences with piano ensemble so far. So actually, whatever Huisian, Brian, and Yanjin has mentioned previously is actually the reason why I decided to join piano ensemble. Because I really wanted to have a different experience in music, which I've never had in the past. So I actually began playing the piano since I was 5 years old, and as what most of us have been doing, it was always related to solo playing. So I never really had a chance to play piano with other people. And I know some JCs do have piano ensemble as a CCA, but I never came from a JC that had piano ensemble. So I really wanted to join NUS Piano Ensemble while studying at NUS so that I can really play music with as a duo or duet. And I knew that this would be a fulfilling experience for me because it's really a different experience of what I had previously when I was playing the piano for about like 15 years. Um, and also, while growing up, I've always listened to classical music and I've always been interested in talking and sharing my musical views with other people. But I really didn't have anyone around me that was interested enough in classical music to share my views and as well as learn from them. So I knew that by joining NUSPE, I'll be able to really converse and communicate and talk about music. And I also knew that for NUSPE, if I were to perform for touch, I will have also the rare opportunity to perform piano at Esplanade to the public, which I've never done before. And overall, playing with NUS Piano Ensemble was definitely an enjoyable experience. Most importantly, you're able to expand your repertoire and really explore different piano techniques and musicality. So that's what Lucien has mentioned previously. So my playing style is really, I like to play like powerful music and grand music. So for example, like Rachmaninoff or Prokofiev, usually the Russian composers. But I guess it really puts you out of the comfort zone, as I actually play a duo piece with Jonathan, with other people, such as Schubert. And from there, I was really able to expand my repertoire, which I would have never done if I were to play alone. And also, one of the most enjoyable experiences I had with NUS Piano Ensemble would be masterclass and music classes as YST, as what Brian has mentioned previously. So I think it was last semester where I got to go to YST and have music classes on Baroque music, and I was able to actually play on the harpsichord, which I don't think you'll ever get the experience ever again. So it was a really eye-opening experience and really deepened my music knowledge. And yeah, that's actually was a very enjoyable experience with NUSP. So I hope if you join NUS Piano Ensemble, you also reap the benefits I've gone through, and I'll really hope that you enjoy our CCA. And now I'll pass my time to Jonathan also to share about his experiences with NUS Piano Ensemble.
Okay, thank you. So hi everyone, my name is John. So I'm a year 4 medicine student now, and I've been in NUS Piano Ensemble since year 1. So I think just like Taekyung, I think many of us, we've started off playing piano from perhaps a young age, perhaps not a young age, but whether or not what age we started, I think many of us focus on solo playing. And then I think many of you would be wondering, what then is the difference between playing in an ensemble, whether it's 4 hands or 2 pianos, versus just playing solo. So I thought maybe now in my sharing, I could just share a bit about what are the takeaways that I've gotten from the past few years on what I think the differences are. So I think the first thing that we can really appreciate is the music that comes out of ensemble playing. So if you think about it, usually when we play solo, we only have 2 hands, a maximum of 10 fingers on the piano. But now we have 4 hands, so 20 fingers, whether it's on 1 piano or 2 pianos at the same time. That allows for, number 1, a richer sound, or rather a much wider spectrum of sound that you can create, whether or not you want it to be very soft, very loud, very grand, very mellow. You have a much richer and bigger spectrum of sounds that one can create. But aside from just the richness of the sound, I think what's very special is that having 4 hands allows for very, very intricate interaction between the voices of the hands. So if you just imagine 1 hand to be 1 singer in a choir, now you have 4 singers in a choir, as opposed to just 2 singers in a choir. And I think the intricacy of the interaction between the voices is really something that one can really appreciate much more in ensemble music compared to solo music. Yeah. So aside from the music that is created in ensemble music, I think one very, very big difference also is the playing, the performance of the music. In that it's very, very different from solo music. So how is it different? First, in ensemble playing, you have a partner, and I think having a partner requires a person to have to decide things and discuss things together with your partner. So you share your musical views with one another to decide on, at each part of music, how do we plan to do it, to do this together to produce a coherent sound. And the reason is because if, let's say, I want to play this part very intensely, but if another person if my partner wants to play this very sweetly and softly, then it just won't work. But having 2 like-minded people to share their views about music, to decide how the music is played together, I think it's a very special experience in piano ensemble as well. But aside from just the preparation in terms of deciding how the music is to be played, I think even as you play it, the second to second adapting to one another is very, very special and very important. So no matter how much a pair can practice together, concert venues can have different acoustics, etc., etc. And at that moment, you always have to adapt to how your partner is playing. If your partner, so it's a second to second hearing of what sound comes out from your partner, whether in terms of the rhythm, the texture, the tone of the sound, the loudness and softness of it, and to just adapt it in a second to second manner to produce a coherent work together. And I think that's also a very special experience in an ensemble. So just to recap, so far I've talked about the music in that it is richer, has a greater spectrum of sounds, as well as allows for intricate interaction between the voices. Aside from music, I've talked about the playing of it, how we have the chance to decide and discuss musical direction together with your partner, as well as practice second to second adaptation during the performance itself. And I think these are all very different. But so far I've only talked about music stuff. Just maybe wanted to share a bit about, the non-music stuff as well. So I think in piano ensemble, especially before COVID and everything, I think one practice is that we always like to have dinners together after the session. And I think that allows for a lot of bonding between the members as well. It's also a common practice for people to arrive at the CCA venue much earlier than expected, whether to study, to chill, and that's where a lot of bonding takes place as well. So yeah, and just one last anecdote that I wanted to share. So so far, for the concerts that I played in, I've been exposed to a huge variety of partners, right? My first partner was Xu Xing, who is from China. My second is Tara, who is from Malaysia. My third one was Jacob, who is from Germany. My fourth is Yusuf, who was was Tae Kyung, who is here also, who's from Korea. And my fifth was Yusuf, who is from Indonesia. And okay, this may be a coincidence, but I think this just reminded me that ultimately music is a language that transcends all things, even though yes, everyone in the CCA happens to be able to speak English in Singapore, but music is still, just something that transcends all differences. And it's just nice that it's just a very nice experience to be able to be in a CCA where together with another person of a different background or whatever, you can work together to create sounds together. Yeah. So okay, yeah, that's the sharing I have. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, John and Tae Kyung, for your sharing. So with that, we've come to the end of the live chat session. If you're interested to join us or would still like to know more specific details about our CCA, then please sign up for our welcome tea, which is happening on the 17th of August, a Monday, at 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. over Zoom. We will send the Zoom link via email that you will provide in the form. So you can scan the QR code, and you need to sign in to your NUSync account using your NUS Net ID, which is this string of numbers that start with E. Yep. So if you still have more questions, then you can drop by to our Zoom sessions on Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, happening at 11 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. for all 3 days. Yep. Otherwise, thank you.